Hello everybody, my name is Luphumlo Joka, founder of Global Leadership Consultants and author of The Ultimate Leadership. Welcome to the second episode of Rising Stars. Just in case you're wondering, about what this is exactly and why you're watching this video, Rising Stars is a platform and a community of student leaders that want to grow and learn together and that have that desire to become better leaders. Now, this is an initiative that has been piloted by the Department of Student Housing in partnership with Global Leadership Consultants. And this session is about Integrous leadership. University for me was a place that enabled me to discover exactly what leadership is and the gift that I had within me to inspire other leaders to become who they need to be. And I'm hoping and praying that through this episode and through this broadcast, you will be challenged and something in you will be ignited so that you become a better leader and a better student. So now let's start by firstly attempting to describe what leadership is. And before we get to that, I want to take you back to many, many years when I was a student leader and when I stayed at Xanadu and Xanadu Main Annex. A lot of the times I came across student leaders and supposed student leaders who are in the SRC at the time who used to refer to themselves as leadership. I'm sure by now, if you are a student and if you're doing your first year, you would have come across this. There's a group of people going around, wearing a certain type of t-shirts, that refer to themselves as leadership. Now, what I had discovered at the time was that it was so easy for these people to refer to themselves as leadership, but it was very, very difficult for them to embody what I believed true leadership was, which led me then to start a company that would train student leaders, high school student leaders, and corporate teams, and that would assist them to, number one, discover what leadership is and how each person can better their leadership capabilities. Now, I want to draw your attention to this particular definition by Dr. Miles Monroe, who is one of my favorite authors and speakers and influencers, so to say, on leadership. And this is a definition that I want to base this whole episode on so that you as a student, as a future leader, as a leader, in this day can become a better leader and so that you can be equipped with the tools that you need to do what you have to do. So Dr. Miles Monroe says that leadership is the capacity to influence through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. And I want to say that again very, very slowly this time. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. And I want to zoom into one or two things, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that we as student leaders and as future leaders that are passionate about nation building can start to build upon so that we become better people and better leaders. The first thing is capacity. Now, you and I, if you want to be better leaders, if you want to be better student leaders, we live in a generation of feast might fall, decolonization of education, all of these terms and phrases that are colorful, that are attractive to student politics. And a lot of people don't understand that in order for you to be able to lead, then you must have this internal capacity for you to lead. In other words, you must be able to have the social capacity, the intellectual capacity, the spiritual capacity, so that you are able to lead people to a certain place, to lead people to a certain position, and you are able to influence and inspire people in a particular way. So the first thing is capacity is important. You must build your capacity. How do you build your intellectual capacity? You read. So university then becomes not only a place where you are just geared towards your academic reading material. You discover how to read beyond the scope of what you study. Why? So that you can enlarge your capacity. So the first thing that you and I must note is that if I want to be a better leader, if I want to have greater impact, I must have capacity to lead. Now, the next thing that you and I must take note of is that each and every leader must be a person that is able to influence. So once you have capacity, you must have capacity to influence other people. So what is influence? Or how do you know that someone is influential? Because we live in a generation of social media influencers. So influence to me is about the impact that you have or the ability that you have to change someone else's character and behavior. It's the impact or the ability that you have as a leader to change someone else's character or behavior. So you must have the capacity to influence others through inspiration. So you, as a person, as a student leader doing your first grade, these are the type of things that you should be thinking about now. If you are, or if you have the desire to be a student leader, or if you have the desire to be a person of impact beyond your studies, you must know how to inspire people. Have you ever met someone who walks into a room and just lights up a room? Have you ever come across someone that, from a distance, if you watch that person, if you watch what they do, if you watch how they do what they do, you feel so inspired? That's leadership. And you influence through inspiration, and that inspiration must be motivated by a passion. Now, I always say to people that I train and I coach that passion is something that you can do for the rest of your life for free. Passion is something that you can do for the rest of your life for free. So university then becomes a place where you and I need to discover what our passion is. What is that one thing that keeps you going? What's that one thing that keeps you motivated? Because all leaders must have capacity to influence through inspiration, and that inspiration must be motivated by a certain passion. Nelson Mandela had a passion. Winnie Madikizela Mandela had a passion. All of the greatest leaders that you and I know were people that had the ability to inspire, to influence, that had the capacity, but they also had passion. And now that passion must be generated by a vision. You and I must be people that are able to see into the future. We must be people that are able to envision what we want to become. We must be people that are able to embody all of these, I don't want to call them values, but all of these different attributes so that we can become better student leaders. What is your vision? How long do you want to take, how long will it take you to finish your qualification? What do you see beyond your 3 or your 4 or your 5 years at Nelson Mandela University? What is the vision or the internal mental picture that you have of where you want to go? That vision must be produced by a conviction. What do you believe in? What do you believe about the LGBTQI community? What do you believe about religion? What do you believe about culture? What do you believe about patriarchy? Because university can so easily become a battleground of ideas. It can so easily become a place where different ideologies can begin to influence how you think, how you see, and ultimately how you lead. So what are your convictions? And those convictions must be ignited by a purpose. Those convictions must be ignited by a purpose. Why are you alive? Why are you alive? So that speaks to purpose. So if you and I are not able to answer all of these questions and build all of these things into how we live, how we study, how we relate to other students, and ultimately how we become better leaders, I would say that we are far off from becoming leaders of the future. So I want to leave you with this quotation, that leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ultimately ignited by purpose.